All right, what is up? This is a very, probably one of the most important videos that I'll do for Defy Aging. I think they're all important, but this one is macro important, incredibly important. And for me, without this piece of information, you really don't know where you're going, how you're getting there, and what you're really doing. Not really, you don't. So since we're starting things off, and I know I'm going to be presenting you guys with a lot of things like workouts and nutritional type stuff, but everything has to start from this part. And we talked about the mind a little bit, but this one is so important that I want you to embrace this. Okay. And some of you, maybe you already have done this, or maybe you're doing it partially, not really fully, but I want it to become, extremely important and something that you keep important for the rest of your life, not just for you, but for your loved ones, and everyone that's in your family. And that is, you ready? Here it is. Get a full blood panel done. Now, I'm not just talking about, you go to the doctor, maybe you get your physical, he does some blood testing, but you don't get to see any of it. And then he comes back and maybe gives you a little bit of information. No, I'm talking about you getting your blood panel and actually taking a hold of those results, all of them. And when I say a blood panel, the things that you really want to include, the most important things that you want to make sure they're doing on the full blood panel is that you're getting CMP, which is a comprehensive metabolic panel. Okay. So the key to your health and how you're doing, the key to preventing many diseases is metabolic health. It's metabolic health. So 3 of the numbers that you're really going to be focusing on when you get these results, the most important are going to be fasting glucose at the top. So that means when you go get this done, for this particular test, you're going to go in the morning and you're going to go fasted. So your last meal will be in the evening. You'll get up in the morning, do your thing. You're not going to be able to eat or drink anything. And then, so when I get this done, I get it done early, as early as I possibly can. So if you're getting it at your doctor's, that's fine. But there's other places all around. Like we have any lab tests now. Like now I just go get them on my own because I know how to read these. And you want to eventually get to that point. But if your insurance provides it or your doctor gives it, great, go get it. But make sure that they're just not reading it and then telling you what they think. Make sure you are receiving the results. It's your right. Most doctors now have apps. So when you get a test, they literally post even before they call you, they literally post all of your scores on the app for you. If yours isn't, get it on paper. Like when you go get this done, receive your results, receive it. Okay. Print it out and put it in a notebook, because number one, it's going to tell you where you're at. That's the first thing. I can give you workout programs. I can give you diets, nutrition. I can give you all that. But if you haven't gone inside your body and listened to what your body has to say first, because it's telling you things. Do you get headaches a lot? That is your body telling you something. Are there certain times of the day when you get dizzy? That is your body communicating to you. Like, to ignore these things is to say that you don't care. But when you get this gives you that intel, that information when you do this. So make sure if your doctor, your physician is going to do this for you, make sure he's going to tell you what he thinks, or she's going to tell you what she thinks. And that's great. Receive the whole results. Okay. Like I said, you can go to any lab test now. They're all over the place. Almost every city and town has a place where you can go get labs literally instantly. You have to pay for it out of pocket. Sometimes they'll let your insurance pay for it. Those are things you have to work out. You have to decide. Let me explain something to you. You cannot afford to not do this. Okay? You cannot afford to not do this. You need to know where you are at exactly, and then how your metabolic health is. What is your metabolic health like? And again, the 3 pieces of the main parts of metabolic health are fasting glucose. So that means you have to have the test on empty stomach. Fasting glucose is a huge indicator of metabolic health. or in health or unhealth. All right. So fasting glucose. Number 2, I know you're waiting for me to say cholesterol. Triglycerides. Fasting glucose. Triglycerides is next. Okay. And then your A1C. Those are the 3. There's others, but those are the 3 meat and potatoes stack, not cholesterol. Let me explain why. Okay, here we go. Cholesterol is the fire truck. It is not the fire. All right? It's not the fire. And all of the new research, all of the new science, all of the new medical data is pointing to, oops, we got this wrong. Everybody assumed when they went and looked at if your cholesterol is high, you are unhealthy, you are unhealthy, you are unhealthy. Now, if your cholesterol, total cholesterol is high, it doesn't mean you need to go take a look to see where the fire is. But causation is not correlation, or correlation, excuse me, is not causation. Yeah, correlation is not causation. Just because they're correlated does not mean it's causing your health problems. And they're discovering that, oops, cholesterol is not what's causing the problem. It is simply a fire truck at a fire. And I'm going to explain this to you in greater detail. And here it is. You ready? This is not debatable. It's already been shown that those with a total higher cholesterol, total HDL and LDL, those with a total higher cholesterol live longer than those with lower. Oops. This is not debatable. This is fact. So that means that there's got to be something else. And the idea that just because you can lower something doesn't mean you should. Like they figured out, because high cholesterol was present when someone had all these other issues, they said, well, let's lower cholesterol. And so they started handing out statins. And just because you can lower something doesn't mean do you really want to get rid of the fire truck? You don't. Now, if your total cholesterol is high, the very first thing your eyes should go to is your fasting glucose, your triglycerides, and your A1C. All right, now let me explain. Stay with me, because everything I'm telling you is I practice what I preach. I've actually done it in my own body. Do I expect you to take my word for it? No, and you shouldn't. Everything that I'm doing for you is designed and geared to get you off your ass and take responsibility for your own health. I have done this for mine. I've had to. I have done this for mine. The first part of that is you going and getting these tests and receiving the information and looking for yourself to find out where you are and then how you can improve. It's funny because one of the first things people ask me in the gym, it could be anywhere, is what supplements are you taking? And this is this person's first day in the gym. And then I ask them what they're eating, and their nutrition sucks. But they want to know what supplements are to take. This is called ass backwards. Okay, supplements should be the last thing unless there is a deficiency. And oh, did you hear that word, deficiency? Which is where these tests come in. You want a complete metabolic panel. Get your hormone panel. Guys, this is huge. Ladies, it is for you as well. Because guys, if you are finding throughout the day you're in your 40s or your upper 30s or your 50s and you're like sluggish, lethargic, no libido, blah, 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 blah. The first thing I tell guys when I hear they're struggling, the first thing I tell them, when was the last time you had your T levels checked? And then they'll go get it looked at, and it's usually basement low. And I'm like, there it is, bud. There it is. So that's one thing. All right. But you want your metabolic panel. We talked about the 3 main ones, but they'll do all of it. You want your hormone panel. And then you also want to know your mineral and vitamin deficiency. There we go. Now we're on to something. This is the one that kills me the most. I can't tell you how many people I know are taking high potency multivitamins, or all the influencers are talking about magnesium and potassium. And so they're like, I'm taking potassium, magnesium, I'm taking iron. And then I'm like, oh, wow. So you're deficient. And they're like, well, no, they're healthy. Well, so you haven't had so you're telling me you're taking these things and you've never gotten your blood, and they're like, no, I haven't. But because you have to understand, the over-the-counter drug market is a trillion and trillion dollar industry. Okay, so you have influence pushing every vitamin and supplement you can possibly imagine. But if your body is not deficient in it, I want you to go look at what happens if you exceed what you should have in potassium. Go look at how dangerous that is. Just go look. So to be taking something like that and not have ever gotten tested is to be you're playing Russian roulette. Like, you're literally playing with fire is what you're doing. If you're deficient, great. You've established it because you went and checked. But if you're not, what are you doing? What are you doing? 99.9% of all of that stuff should be coming from what you're eating, not from a pill. If you're deficient, great. Now you know what to supplement. You can take it. And then you test again later. Okay? You test again later. For me, I'll tell you what I do, and then I'll tell you why. Every 6 months, full panel. I get everything done. Everything. The full kit and caboodle, everything I told you. My metabolic panel, my hormones, my deficiencies, vitamins, you name it, my testing of all my organs, kidney function, I get all of it. That's the full panel. I do that every 6 months. Now, every 3 months, or if I make a major shift in my eating plan, I shift from one type of eating to another, keto back to carbs, carnivore to carb. Then I get another one done shortly after the switch to see what has shifted and what has changed. But you don't have to get the full panel. You can just get vitamin panel, vitamin nutrient panel. You can just go get a metabolic panel. So you don't have to get the full panel, all right, every time. But you're always following up and you're always checking and you are validating. You are watching what you're doing to see what's working and what's not. Otherwise, you're wasting money and time. I can't tell you how much money folks are wasting on popping vitamins. When they go get tested, they come back and they're like, yeah, you're good. Or some you'll see you're high. Oh, and you're like, oops, crap. I've been like literally smoking that vitamin every day. And you're dangerously high. It's insanity to me. But everybody wants to pop a pill. Find out what you need. Find out where you're at. And this goes for your workouts and for your nutrition. How can you formulate a nutrition plan if you don't know your metabolic panel and why? Your triglycerides are high. Why? You can just go look at what you're doing and what you're eating. Are you smoking? What is it you're eating? What is your sugar intake like? If your A1C is off the chart. Now I told you I was gonna show you how I myself have used this and validated and what changed it for me. I've been a bodybuilder. I've been lifting weights since I was 16. I've been a bodybuilder since the late 1990s, and then I competed in 2003 and 2004 in 2 bodybuilding competitions. So I've been working out, training, boom, all this stuff. Well, after I retired from the service, I've always been bodybuilding. I don't compete anymore, but I've maintained that. Well, when I retired and I started running another business, I've always looked big. Like, people would be like, dude, you must work out. You must be mega healthy. I've always looked that way. But I was eating garbage. I was eating junk, a lot of fast food. I was drinking, soda every now and again, Texas sweet tea. I was doing that. I was drinking lots of energy drinks. I don't do that anymore. But I was doing that nonstop. But I looked on the outside fit. I looked fantastic. No one would look at me and be like, you're unhealthy. Nobody. They would be like, Dan is fit. He's healthy. That guy is ready to go. That is how by appearance. Now, you can look at people and tell whether they're metabolically unhealthy, but you cannot look at a person and tell that they're metabolically healthy. Okay? Obese, overweight, yes, there's metabolic issues. You already know this. But you can't look at a skinny person and say that person is metabolically healthy. You cannot. You cannot look at a bodybuilder and look at a bodybuilder and say that person is metabolically healthy. And I'll tell you why. I went and got a full blood panel. I was having some residual things like lethargy. I was having some other issues. But I was working out, felt strong, good. And I got my blood panel, and holy crap, out of nowhere, I was pre-diabetic on the verge of full diabetic. Bam! No warning. No warning. Bam! I didn't have a heart. Nothing led me to this to go to it. I'm so thankful that I got it done. Come to find out, my triglycerides were over 200, which is insane. It's insane. Like, you should be under 100. Like, they got to, like, I know it's going to show out there that as long as you're under like 140, 150, you're good. You want to be at 100 or lower. Okay. Now, every time I get my triglycerides tested, I'm literally between 70 and 90, which I love, which is great, no matter what eating plan I'm on. And I keep it that way. But my triglycerides were over 200. My fasting glucose was sky high. It was bad. It instantly showed that I was pre-diabetic on the verge of being full diabetic. At that moment, I left realizing that even though I looked great, I felt like garbage and I was in trouble physiologically and metabolically. I instantly began to make changes. And now I didn't want to do this video to talk about diets and stuff, but most people already know. I worked my way over the period of 3 to 5 months into carnivore. All right. So number one, I'm already a meat eater. So this is not me telling you to go carnivore. Okay. Because I believe you can achieve metabolic health doing many different facets, including eating carbohydrates, if you know how to do it. And I'm going to have videos on that and how to do that because I've done them all. I've had to. But when I did, I inched my way into full carnivore. As you know, carnivore is nothing but meat, eggs, some cheese. That's pretty much all it is. And in doing so, over the period of a year, so I worked my way in. I did carnivore for about 1.5 years, and it reversed absolutely everything. My entire metabolic panel came back to perfect. I was no longer pre-diabetic, nowhere even close. My triglycerides rocketed down below 100. Check this out. Everything metabolically was perfect. My cholesterol was high. See what I mean? The presence of high cholesterol, my health completely changed. My skin irritations left. My ADHD calmed down. I was almost completely healed of that just from going full carnivore. But my total cholesterol was high. Why? I'm eating meat and fat. But I was completely healthy. It's not the fire truck. It's not the cholesterol that's killing you. It's one of the other items. It's one of the other things. So if you do have high, that means go look. If you go look and everything else is great and your total cholesterol is still high, then you must revert to the fact that I told you at the beginning, and that is those with a total higher cholesterol live longer than those with a total lower cholesterol. These are the facts. Now, I've achieved metabolic health. I'm no longer on carnivore because I did donate a kidney, and they've told me, I've got to reduce the protein. Now that's a science I'm debating and I'm researching right now, but I am back on a more balanced diet, and I'm still able to achieve metabolic health. So this is not me saying, everybody go carnivore. That's not it. Okay. And I'll do a video on that. And for those that are interested, because it reversed my health lightning quick, and it has for many people. But the point of this is, go get tested and then start to learn what these numbers mean and how they're affecting your body and why they are where they are and how you can make changes to those. That way, when you set up your plan is in accordance to what is wrong and what you can make right. That is the point. That is the point. So you got to go get these tests and then get your brain and your head. Don't take my word for it, and start looking at these things. Don't just remember, so I love doctors. Without doctors, I would not have had the successful, incredible kidney transplant that saved the life of my father. I love doctors, but they're not there to teach you how to eat healthy. That's not what they're there for. And many don't know how. Okay, many don't know. Metabolic health is a nutrition problem. It is a nutrition, what you're putting in your mouth. Let food be thy medicine. Well, wasn't that Socrates? I think it's one of them. I think it was Socrates. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. But you get the point. And so put the supplement down, go get the test, then make movements to improve that. Then if you're deficient, then add that item, unless it's a nutritional supplement. Okay, because there's many of these supplements that are just nutrition, crushed flaxseed, like all this other, there's plenty that are nutrition, but you know what I'm talking about. Supplements that are not nutrition, they're just vitamins or additional things. And put that stuff down. And if you're just now working out, stop with the workout supplement. Stop. That's insanity. You don't need it. If your idea of going to the gym is going to buy workout supplements first, no. The only people that should be using sports supplementation are those training on the edge. That's right. You're already trained. You are training your nutrition is on point. Your workout is on point. You don't miss days. You're like solid. And now you're looking for that something to push you over the edge. Like creatine, creatine is the most proven sports supplement in the world. Creatine monohydrate. For years, its efficacy has been proven and validated over and over. And the benefits for those that are growing older, even more so. But don't introduce a bottle of creatine. You haven't gotten blood tested and you don't work out and you don't. So we've got to address all of the buts. I would, but I can't because, and find out what's wrong, what's going on inside, and then make the plan for that. Man, it's that simple. So I'm going to be giving you guys tons of great stuff, but you've got to start here. So I urge you, stand up, take responsibility for you, the metabolic health. Start saying that now. Metabolic health is the key to stopping many of the diseases that are going on, many of the diseases and the dysfunctions and the aging that's going on in the world. And man, most of that can be fixed with literally good nutrition and good training. That's it for this video. Hope you liked it. A lot coming.